The questions come pretty fast in this channel. Anyways, Yo Coot here, coming back at you with another exciting video. So I just did a video prior to this one about Soleil water, and a question has already popped up in the comments section. So why or what type of salt is best to use? I'm using Himalayan pink salt. It's pretty inexpensive, like especially when I buy it at Costco to do my Soleil water. Basically what I'll do is I'll do 1/8 of a teaspoon in a container about this big. This is about 2 or 3 ounces. And just basically use filtered water and mix it up and let it sit overnight so that the water can absorb the salt and the minerals and etc. And it doesn't taste as salty as, say, if you just threw some salt into a glass and did it that way. Ironic, it's kind of strange, but I think the osmosis, the way that the filtered water breaks down the salt, it doesn't taste as salty. Anyways, the salt that I use is Himalayan pink. A better choice than this in my research would be Celtic salt, from, like, I believe it's North Ireland or from like Norway, one of those European countries. Basically, there's less of the bad stuff and there's more of the good stuff, the minerals, the nutrients, etc. The things that help the pathways of your electrolytes flow in your body. It just optimizes. It's one level better than just drinking straight water. Why can't a person use table salt? Table salt has nothing in it other than just the salt. There's no minerals, there's no nutrients, usually, typically, right? Like your typical Morton's table salt is just salt. It's whatever the chemical elements are, whatever that is to make salt. So the reason why you use Himalayan pink, or you use the Celtic sea salt, or just a good high quality sea salt that has the least amount of bad stuff in it, is because you're trying to get the minerals, you're trying to get the vitamins, you're trying to get the nutrients out of that salt that you're going to mix in water, and then eventually this you're going to mix into your eventual final water, is to keep you hydrated, to keep the electrolytes flowing freely, to basically keep you from feeling like you're thirsty. If you're a keto person, usually you tend to pee out a lot of water because you're not eating carbs, and carbs is what keeps the water in you, right, in your organs, etc. So backpackers, right, you might not know when your next water source is coming up to where you can filter water and then drink. If you're all day on a fishing boat, you know, you're hunting, fishing, that kind of thing, that's another thing, right? So just always try to get fresh water in you. Also, if you're working out just on a day-to-day basis, you're working out, you're going to the gym, you're sitting in an office all day, you're one of those cubicle workers, you're an office manager, you're the president and CEO of a company. It's not just about drinking water that's very important, but it's also about getting the hydration that you need to prevent the muscle cramps, to prevent the dehydration issues. I think it's safe to say that most Americans, at least most Americans, tend to be undernourished when it comes to the amount of water that they should be drinking. It should be minimum 8 ounce glasses of water. So a total of 64 ounces, a total of a half a gallon of water per person per day, spread out throughout the day. That's what you're supposed to be drinking. And most Americans fall short of that number. So at least what I do, as I mentioned in the previous video, was I'll make this up the night before, right? Like ahead of time. And this is about 2 or 3 ounces of filtered water in this container. And I will put in about 1/8 of a teaspoon of I use the Himalayan pink because it's what I can afford. But if I could go like up one level, it would be the Celtic sea salt, right? So 1/8 of a teaspoon goes into there. That all gets mixed together overnight through the process of osmosis. The water is going to absorb and dissolve the minerals and the nutrients that are in there to make it easier to process and digest for the body, to get all that stuff. This is super salty. Like if you tasted this as is, it's going to be really, really salty. But what I'll then do is I'll put about 1/8 of a teaspoon of this water into 8 ounces of water. This isn't 8 ounces. I drank a little bit. But what I'll do is I'll put about 1/8 of a teaspoon into 8 ounces of water. If I'm going to do this for like a liter size container, right, 750 milliliters, or if I'm going to do like a bigger size container, I'll just adjust accordingly. Sometimes it might be as much as like 1 teaspoon, right? Like a full teaspoon of this concoction will go into 1 liter of water To taste, you know, you don't want it to taste too salty. It should taste like good quality, flat mineral water is what it should taste like. And that's the key, is using Himalayan pink salt. But Celtic sea salt is a little bit better. And as mentioned before, keep in mind, you know, if you're going to be out all day, you're not going to have access to water as easily as you'd like to. Even just doing this in the morning, right? First thing when you wake up, or even before you go to bed, like maybe 2 or 3 hours before you go to sleep, even just doing this before you go to sleep will help to at least try to nourish the body as much as possible with the minerals and the stuff that your body needs for the electrolytes in your system to flow freely. It's better than just drinking regular water. At least the science, the research has proven that much. Even if you just do it once a day with even just that 1/8 of a teaspoon, you're at least one level better than just drinking regular water. So anyways, with that being said, if you have any questions or comments, post them down below there. Post them down below in the comment section. I'm the Old Coot. I will put some links to some cool stuff down in the comment section and also in the description. So make sure to check that out. But yeah, Sole water, SOLE water. That's basically what I do on a daily basis. I started doing this about, I would say, like a month ago, realistically, is when I first discovered it, when I started doing it. I think it's all the rage now on, you know, all these social media sites or whatever it is. And I just started doing it, and I notice a difference. I do notice a difference. And that'll be the next video after this one. So stay tuned.